What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rana Kordahi Show. Today's guest is Rana Kordahi. Is that how you say your name?
Exactly.
Rana is a sales coach, a sales mindset coach. She's also a writer and a TEDx speaker, and the founder of the Selling Academy, which is a sales and sales leadership training, coaching, and consulting firm or company. Rana, welcome to the Rana Kordahi Show. It's good to have you.
Thank you, Rani. It's great to have you. And I like your name. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. What is up, everyone? This is Ronnie, your host of the Rana Kordahi Show. My number one goal in this show is to bring you some of the most amazing and accomplished individuals in the business world to share with you some real, raw, and authentic business insights. We sit down and talk in a casual setting, nothing too serious, yet we unpack some of the most incredible ideas, concepts, and best practices. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh, and don't forget to share the love. Like, share, and subscribe. Gracias, amigos. We have a few common friends on LinkedIn, and I've seen your work over the last couple of years. You're popping everywhere. Your content is everywhere on LinkedIn, so I admire what you do. And I think today there's a lot of things that we can talk about in sales. But perhaps before we do that, maybe start with your journey. Like, what made you so, like, and I'm sure you mentioned that, or you talked about it in, in your TEDx speech that you gave, and you share that with everyone. But it would be nice to share that with whoever's watching. What got you interested in pursuing, career in sales?
That's a good question. I was never interested in pursuing a career in sales. And like most sales, people that fall into sales, I guess I fell into it. It was in my primal instinct of just going out and picking up the phone. So any job I had that wasn't sales, I'll create my own sales job. So for example, I had one position where I was a secretary in this warehouse, and the boss, he purchased all these hundreds and thousands worth of bathroom products, and he wanted to sell them to builders and plumbers. And I think I was about like 23. I can't remember my exact age. And my job was to just answer the phone for him. And he was doing a lot of marketing back in the early 2000s. But so I think the phone was not ringing. So I just started cold calling naturally, without anyone telling me pick up the phone, or it wasn't even my job. And then I went out and door knocked, and I was visiting all the construction sites. And then I made a huge sale for him to a building that was about to go up, and I sold all the pre-construction bathroom products. And then I just evolved. Then I worked in recruitment. I worked in timeshares, real estate, and it was just something that.
Yeah, it's interesting because door knocking and cold calling and all these, I guess what people call today as traditional ways of selling are one of the things that make salespeople really good, because you tend to deal with a lot of rejection starting out. So it teaches you that it's okay to be told no, and you just gotta find better ways of communicating and selling what you're selling.
That's true, and I think you need to have resilience. There's two types of people: the ones that end up not giving up, and the ones that say, "Oh, this is too hard," and they give up. And it goes across all their life, whether it's their trying to get a job, trying to get a date, whatever it is. These people, they just give up on life. And I think sales is great to be able to build resilience for the rejection. As well.
So you were like, business is not coming in. I'm just going to pick up the phone. I'm just going to start door knocking. I'm going to save the day. And did you get a massive promotion after you?
Yeah, I became sales manager.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and he had the money to hire more people, and we started doing really well. Yeah.
And did you feel like this was your passion, or because you found yourself to be really good at it, you just fell in love with it?
I can't say I fell in love with it straight away. It wasn't something like I thought. I just liked doing it because I was also an actor, filmmaker. So my dream was, I had another dream to become a filmmaker or like a movie star. So for me, that was like a job that was getting me by. But eventually, I guess I didn't want to be a starving artist.
Yep.
And I did want that security.
Yep. Because what, 90% of actors and actresses,
I think 99%,
make like
Yeah.
the living they make out of, that careers wouldn't pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I would have had to work in, and also when you need to go to auditions, you can't have a 9 to 5 job. You need to
Yep.
work in, I don't want to say bad jobs, but for me to work in like waitressing or in a bar was not, I did it
Yep.
many years, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I guess but to be honest with you, I never followed my dream of becoming an actor because also I didn't have that mindset with the acting world as well. Yeah.
Cool. And fast forward how many years?
20 years.
Here we are.
Yeah. Oh no,
Training and
yeah, no, I started selling when I was much younger.
okay.
So when I was like, so 20 years, I would have been 17 or something when I started, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess for anyone listening or watching who knows about you or doesn't even know about you but want to learn about how to become a better seller, maybe we can start with, and we got a few points to talk about, but maybe we can start with the mindset of sales and, the sales mindset, and we'll go from there.
Okay. So, I mean, when I'm working with sales and non-sales people, they have a few issues that they could know the skills, they could have the best sales script, but if they don't, on an unconscious level, overcome these specific issues, then they're not going to move forward. So I can take you through some of the things I work with, but it's a whole process and it takes
time,
a few months. But step number 1 is it's important to identify the difference between a consultative salesperson and a pushy salesperson. So once I understand that a consultative is there to help the customer, to help them with their pain, things like that, and it's not the pushy 1990s, then that pressure is taken off. Then number 2, then we have to identify what are the benefits of learning how to sell besides just your sales job, keeping it, making commissions. So everything from influencing to communicating. Then number 3, we identify the impact, like what is the impact you're making in that customer's life, and to feel that emotional impact that you're making, you're changing their life. Number 4, then we work on the thoughts, conditioning your thoughts. So what are you telling yourself every day from when you wake up to when you're making the sales call? Number 5, we work on
so with number 4, part of that is the limiting beliefs, right? What you're telling yourself that, hey, they won't be interested, or they're not going to close on the deal, or whatever, all the doubts that you have that you normally, as a human, would have in your day-to-day lives about anything. And as a salesperson, you'll also tend to have, by nature, these doubts. So working on those.
And a lot of times it's unconscious because whatever they say before they get on the phone, this is useless, there's no point, they're going to say no, or I'm just not good at this. They are conditioning their mind to not feel confident. So some people have been doing it for 30 years of their life. If they're 30 years old, they're not confident people because they're just conditioning their mind. Okay, so number 5 is after physiology, so how you work with your body to become more confident. So everything from your smile, the way you stand, the way you breathe. And then number 6 is mastery. So mastery is getting better at your skill from studying the sales material and studying your product, things like that. So those are like the 6 pillars
steps
that I work on a deeper level with people in order to get them to have the sales mindset.
I think mastery is one of the most important parts because it tends to overflow on other areas. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if you get to master or know a lot more about what you're talking about, you just generally tend to feel more confident and you're able to better communicate what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely. And exactly. And as they say, competence is confidence. So sometimes it's simply some sales teams, it's almost that they don't give them the training. So they wonder why are these people not knowing how to sell? Exactly. Because they don't even know what to say when they get on the phone. They don't know how to structure that hook or the questions or trying to find a solution for that customer or going to the next steps.
quickly out of point, out of topic, or maybe in topic. Are you a fan of Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street?
Am I a fan of Jordan?
Yeah.
Um,
Do you know who he is?
you put me on the spot now.
Yeah. I do. Okay, we'll come back to that question.
Okay. I think he's pretty good. Yeah. No, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
His sales material is pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm probably not a fan of him 20 years ago and what he was teaching, but yeah, definitely.
Oh, sure. Like I meant from a sales training perspective.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about like him.
No.
Back
I
in
think
the
that's
90s
quite.
No, absolutely.
I think even him, he's not a fan of what he did. But I'm just referring to, what he, I guess, like his philosophy on how to train people, how to sell and how to sell today, all the trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his training, him and Grant Cardone, they're amazing. But see, the thing is, I teach B2B sales and complex sales.
Right.
So for me to teach their stuff, it doesn't really work in the complex, $1 million transactions or hundreds and thousands of dollars.
Right.
So yeah, their stuff is amazing and I love them. But
it's more B2C.
It's mostly B2C.
Yeah.
So I do follow them, but a lot of the people that I learn from are people like Tony Hughes.
Yep.
I don't know if you know Tony Hughes.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, so no, he's pretty good. Or the guy that wrote Combo Prospecting, what's his name? No, Tony Hughes wrote Combo Prospecting, and then there was another one who wrote another book, Jeb Blount, I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like more B2B experts that.
I was looking at your LinkedIn, and one of the things I noticed and I liked was actually on your website, the slogan that says, "We don't believe in knowledge collection, but implementation and sales results."
Yeah, that's a motto. Yeah, my motto.
Yeah, I love it because I personally, like, I would admit that at some point in my life, I was more pursuing knowledge than the practice of the knowledge, and I came to the realization at some point that I could learn. I can read as many books as I want or as I can. I can go to all these trainings. I can do all that stuff. But if I were not to practice and learn from, practicing on a daily basis, whatever the case is, whatever the skill is, I'm not going to progress. So I think that's a really cool slogan, hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sales companies, they do all this sales training, but there's no implementation and follow through. And I got that motivation for that because I used to work also in learning development.
Yeah,
we used to pay thousands of dollars, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars for training.
Yeah,
where people came in, but they just come in for the day, they leave.
Yeah,
and there's no program or implementation. So, and then we just wasted a lot of money because studies show that people forget. Don't quote me on this, but at least 80% of learning is forgotten after 30 days. So what is the point? And then I think
quite ambitious.
Yeah. No. And then, so if you're not doing implementation and repetition, then you are wasting your time and money. It's just entertainment, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, all right, I've got a few things, and I guess one of them, going back to the questions and topics that we want to address, the skill of knowing how to sell. And you could be biased, and that's totally fine. I would be biased for if I were to talk about the skills that I practice and share with people. But how do you rank the skill of selling amongst all the other skills? If I'm an entrepreneur and I'm starting a business, doing anything, selling any product, could be tech, whatever. How do you rank the skill of selling amongst all the other skills in terms of importance?
To be honest with you, mindset is more important than anything.
Okay,
then there's this prospecting, which is filling your pipeline, then the sales. So I rank at number 3.
Okay.
So like if you don't have the right mindset, the right confidence, the right attitude, it doesn't matter what you know. If you don't know how to fill your pipeline and prospect, there's no one to sell to, so there's no point knowing how to sell. And then number 3 is the sales, the conversation and the sales skills. But I guess excuse me, you can package it all into one.
Hashtag corona. Shouldn't be laughing about this. Apologies. Yeah, keep going. So prospecting comes at the start. Mindset, and then prospecting,
then sales. But for me, that's why I do sales mindset, and I do then sales. And obviously, I teach how to prospect and all that sales pipeline, funnels, outreach, sales cadence, all that. That's actually an art on its own.
Yes.
And there are some sales teams, but specifically in B2B, that don't do the prospecting.
Right.
They have somebody doing it for them.
Yep.
Maybe an entry-level young person, and then they
or
go
junior role.
Yeah, and it's easy. Like they go and they have a good conversation with a very warm, hot lead that is very into the buying process.
Yep. And I guess I meant also in comparison to other traits or skills that you need to have as an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, you need to know a bit about everything, right? So you need to know, you need to have a creative aspect to you. You need to have your ability to learn new things, your ability to create things, your ability to just generally communicate or lead people or manage, or, would you put like everything under sales, whether it's funnels or selling or mindset, would you put all of that as sales, like in the top 2 or 3 things that you need to have?
Okay, so if you are selling more, say like low cost products, then marketing. You might not ever need to get in front of anybody.
Yep.
Okay, but if you're selling high complex, where you need to
big ticket size,
or even sometimes these people are big decision makers. There's like 5 of them in a big company.
Yep.
You can't just run an ad, so you need sales. You need to know how to get on the phone. You need to know how to go out and get to these people and network and all that kind of stuff. So it depends what you're selling, but sales and marketing, I can't say sales is more important than marketing or marketing. It just depends.
It depends on what industry and what you're selling.
If you're selling where you have to get in front of that person and close them, then I do believe sales is important than anything, because even leadership, like you can't build a team if you don't make sales.
Yep.
Okay, so maybe work on your leadership skills after, because you don't have anybody to sell to.
Yep.
Obviously developing a good product, that's really important. That's number 1, or service.
Yep.
But if you can't, so I think that's pretty high. But once you develop your offering, if you don't have, and a lot of, I'll give you an example. I knew one entrepreneur who, he's in Victoria. He had an amazing coaching system. It was a coaching software, and he was renting this office, and he had staff and everything.
Yep.
But he didn't know how to sell. So he ended up spending all this money before making his first sales. So if I was him, and it wasn't like a startup where he had the funding. He was using it. I would have just gotten on the phone, made a lot of sale, like tried to make, and then I would have invested in the staff and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Maybe I'm going on a whole rant here, but
no, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of asking these questions. I'll tell you if you care to know what I think. I think selling, creating, and leading are probably the top 3 things for an entrepreneur, given that you're doing the journey on your own. So a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's perfectly fine. In fact, a lot of times it works even better than just doing the journey on your own. A lot of like giant companies started with more than one co-founder. You can go down that list all you want. But if you were to create a company or a startup on your own, or even take a small business to the next level, I think selling is one of the top 3. And I'll tell you why. Because you're selling everything to everyone all day, every day. You're selling when you recruit someone new. You're selling to them that your company is where they need to be. You're selling to your team the dream. You're selling to your customers. You're pretty much selling every single hour of your day. And so I think a lot of the things that you as a sales coach or a sales trainer train people on can be implemented in different ways, in different avenues, and not necessarily just sitting in front of a managing director or a buyer of some sort trying to sell to them. It can be used in different ways.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I think you've nailed it, and I love how you said selling the dream to the team. Yeah, absolutely. And I think yes, as a life skill, selling is one of the most important skills you can have.
Yep.
In everything, whether you want to sell your child the idea of going to bed early.
Yep.
I don't have children, but I've done it with children that I was babysitting.
Yep.
Or selling yourself on a date or whatever it is.
Yep. There's always something that you're
it's very important.
Cool. And we went through the mindset. Let's talk about motivation, because I feel like motivation or drive, people like to refer to drive these days rather than motivation, is something that kind of wears off after some time. Doesn't matter what it is, like, you know, when you first start something, and we've all been there, you're too excited about it. You can see the sunshine and rainbows. You're like, oh, you know, this and that. And then after some time, once you start to get into the trenches and you get rejections and things turn out to not be as easy as you thought once they may be, your motivation kind of just goes down.
Yeah.
Is that something that you tackle? What are your thoughts on that, and how do you talk to people about it and help them keep it up? Okay,
so is that my personal motivation, and then how do I help other people? Or is that how do I help other people find their motivation?
No. How do you help other people? So not personally, but how do you approach it with people when you train them and that stuff?
Okay, so I mean, it all goes back to, so Edward Deci, he's a psychologist, and he says that there's 3 things for people to feel motivated, whether you're a leader and you want to motivate them, or whether you want to motivate yourself. Number 1 is people need autonomy, to feel that they are in the choice and control to in the direction of their life. So if I'm trying to motivate a salesperson, I would ask them, what do you think that you need to do in order to hit your goals? And let's explore and get them to take ownership and accountability, not me trying to tell them exactly what they need to do. Obviously within reason. If they don't have the skills, I give them the information. So people need autonomy. Number 2, Edward Deci says that you need purpose. So what is the impact that I'm making? So if you're selling, I don't know, vitamins that are helping people feel more energetic, so you're helping them win the day, do their job. Not like, you can think of the extreme examples, not get fired, have a good relationship with their spouse. Yep. You know, what is the impact? And just really think about the impact and have a purpose for what you're doing. And number 3 is mastery. So you have to feel like you're getting better and you're progressing. Otherwise, so if I just get to one level and I don't progress anymore, I could lose motivation. So with the team, get them to always progress, help them learn. And there should be room for progression. Sometimes in companies, if it's a flat kind of leadership structure and they're not progressing even to get to the next level, they lose motivation as well. And you have to identify, does this person have low skill and high will, which is easy to work with, or does this person have low will and low skill?
Yeah, I think there's a quote that says you can teach everything except ambition.
But you can always help people find, and that's why psychologists, they ask questions. They don't just tell people, they don't give the answers, because when you give the answers, people don't feel that they are in control and there's no insights created. So to help somebody find the motivation, it's always better to get them to believe that it's their idea as well.
Do you think when we talk about motivation, do you think that target setting, whether it's from someone's boss or if you're an entrepreneur and you have your own business and you're setting your own targets, do you think that target setting is one of the main reasons people get demotivated after some time, if they set the bar too high?
Yeah, if they set the bar too high, sometimes it's unrealistic, definitely. But for me, I'm more motivated when I'm working in a sales team, because I'm very competitive and I want to prove myself.
Right.
But when I'm an entrepreneur, like I could make, if I was working for a team in my business, I would make 5 times more money than what I do now.
Really? Just because you know that there are people in your team that can be doing better and you're competitive by nature.
I'm very competitive, yeah.
So you just go above and beyond to make sure you win.
Oh, yeah. I'll be the top.
Interesting. So wouldn't you look at other people who have sales training companies as people in your team?
I do, but yeah, definitely. And when I do see my competition, it makes me more competitive. But you get to the point where if like, okay, in my business, if I make money to pay my rent and everything and I'm comfortable for 2 years, that makes me very comfortable because I'm not actually driven by a lot of making to become so rich.
Yep.
Okay, I'm driven to be comfortable and I always have to find new things to get me motivated. And sometimes, I'm like, yes, I set myself goals and I'm like, I need to make this much money this month and I work really hard.
Yep.
But I could actually probably make a lot more if I had that pressure. But that's just how I work. And I think a good salesperson also needs to have that competitive that they're competitive in their nature as well, that they need to be competitive with. And also because I had people that I did not want to let down. So I would never want my manager or my leaders to be upset. So I always worked at a very high standard. And don't get me wrong, when I go and I run my sales training, these people are my bosses. So when I deliver the training, I like sometimes spend more time preparing things for them and doing things that are out of scope and they haven't paid for because it's in my nature to want to do the best work that I can.
Sounds to me like motivation, what I can gather from this conversation we just had now is really linked to your value system and being in an environment that is aligned with the value system that you have. So your value system values more comfort and basically making those you respect, helping them out and performing to a level where they are happy with, right? So perhaps there's more, but that's what I've gathered from what you said. So if you're an entrepreneur, you might have a different value system than that. You might think, okay, look, my value system is I want to, like, I have real financial goals and beyond the comfort level.
Yeah.
And going back, and your competitiveness in a team, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're someone who doesn't have these values, let's say you're just driven by financial goals and want to own X, Y, and Z, and you're passionate about, a couple of things, that is different. So it's all about, okay, what environment do I need to create for myself in where I'm at to continue to drive me to achieve what I need to achieve.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're uncomfortable, so say for example, an entrepreneur lives with their parents. I personally, unless that parent says you've got 3 months to move, I think sometimes they might not, if the parent's like, oh yeah, you can stay as long as you want, that entrepreneur might not
take the steps they need to take.
So sometimes when you're desperate, that's when you make a lot of money and then the momentum happens. So in my business, I've got a lot of momentum. I've got a lot of, that's why I'm comfortable, I guess. And I'm always feeling like I do my KPIs, like where my email marketing goes out on that day, the sales, I still follow the whole procedure. Like it's not like but I think, and you're right, the value system. So I guess my value system is different than somebody that maybe wants a Lamborghini in a really nice big house, and that's what drives them. And I think if that's what drives you, then that's great. Use whatever or if you want to impress women or men and that's what's driving you, then use that. Whatever, however shallow it is, use it. Or maybe it could be, I want to save the world and I want to save animals, or I want to, help all the poor people. Whatever is in your, there's nothing right or wrong. Yeah.
And that goes back to the purpose and the reason why you're doing what you're doing and selling. So the conclusion I get out of this as well, and for everyone listening, is if you're selling as a job and you're not too passionate about what you're selling and you don't believe in it too much, we're not saying quit your job, but at the same time, pursue a sales job where you sell something that you believe in 100% and you're passionate about. And if you're an entrepreneur, same applies, right?
Yeah, and I'm the one that says if you don't believe in what you're selling is crappy. If you're an entrepreneur, change it. If you are a salesperson, find another job.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be able to sell that that product or service.
And you're doing the business or the company that you work for at the service as well.
Exactly. And sometimes people go and write bad reviews about you and use your full name, and that jeopardizes your chance of getting another job, or your personal brand is ruined if you want to start a business.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this person Rana called me and she has no idea what she's talking about.
I've seen it, like in the reviews, they use that person's full name, and
that is
from the company.
That is a bit savage, I think.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be. You can use someone's first name, but using someone's full name is too much.
If that person sold you something that was not good and you spent all this money,
if they scammed you.
But sometimes they didn't scam you. They give you the right information, but the product is so bad that it's not their fault. But Look, I'm not saying it's wrong. No, it is.
As
it is
in,
wrong.
if you're describing what happened and you're not making things up and using someone's full name, okay, cool. I can't fault you.
Yeah.
But my personal ethics, I wouldn't really go, because that can damage their career. Why not just put the first name, and if the company gets in touch, you can tell them.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I do agree. You make a good point. I do agree, and I like your level of empathy.
Yeah.
I like that you're a compassionate person.
I'm not an angel, but yeah.
Whoa.
Cool. What do you feel like going through next? So we got sales techniques. If you want to touch on that, sales funnel and training. Like if I was a sales manager or even someone like in a position where I need to train other people how to train effectively, and then we got sales funnel and other sales techniques that you want to talk about, and then we will wrap up.
Okay. So what's your next question?
I guess maybe why not talk about sales training? So it's a little bit of a different skill set in my opinion, right? So knowing how to sell and training others to know how to sell are not the same skill.
No,
yeah.
No.
So is that something you cover as well? Like how to upskill sales trainers, like a sales manager in a company, for them also how to manage and upskill their team?
So I coach sales managers and non-sales managers how to be sales coaches like me.
Okay, cool.
So I give them the skills, the coaching skills of what I do to be able to, because sometimes if there's hundreds of staff, I don't have the capacity to be able to, or they might not have the budget to pay me to be coaching all of them.
So you go and do a one-on-one with that coach.
So I do, so my programs work where I do the 1-day training with the team. And if it's a small team, then I can coach them through the 12-week program. Every 2 weeks we get on and we revise some of the sessions. I give them homework. We work on their scripts. I listen to their calls, whatever. Yep. But if it's a huge, like there are some companies, I work with multinationals that have, 200 people.
Yep.
And I might be able to run the day seminars and things like that. Mm-hmm. I might have to travel around and take a few days. But then I don't have the capacity to be able to coach those 300 people. So their managers, they might have, what did I say, 200?
Yep.
200. Maybe from that 200, there's like 15 managers. So I'll put them into 2 groups. And then I have 2 60-minute sessions with them. And I take them through the whole, firstly, understanding the sales methodologies, the sales process, all the things that we covered on the training and repeating it. Then giving them the blueprint. And then helping them go through a blueprint with their staff, and then there's implementation plans that their staff. So from my training, there's different activities that you have to do and repeat. Yep. So it's I think that's I'm giving too many secrets because I don't really talk about what I do. It's just
everyone's getting some secrets now.
No, like my whole process. I've never really shared it publicly, but.
Well,
I know that some people are share everything, but I don't believe that. I'm like, I share enough, but the people that pay for my services are the ones that deserve to get the more, and content is free, but there's some things that I do that is not out there.
Yeah.
That I've learned and I've mastered through
along the way.
Yeah, many years of experience.
Do you think that if someone, let's say a competitor, to you, who wants to know exactly what you do you think it will be hard for them to crack and go and see what your program exactly is and copy things from it?
Unless I had a friend that works
Yeah.
in a company,
it's
then
not.
then they won't be able to.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not even, to be honest with you, okay, I might, I was kind of joking.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's not even the content, it's the person that delivers the content and the teacher and how they can draw the insights from that person.
Yep.
So content is free, it's everywhere.
Yep.
And yeah, to clarify, I do have some things that I've never shared and my own little, everyone has their own little techniques. And I don't share them because when people are paying me, I want to give them a little bit more value than giving everything for free.
Right.
However, my customers are not the 100% of people I target or the 100% of people that work in sales. It's like 3% or 2% of companies that want somebody to come in and take over and help their learning development team. Or they might not have. So it's like a very small percentage of people.
Yep. Cool.
So yeah, not everyone's my customer at the same time. And in sales, to be honest with you, there are competitors, but to be honest, not enough people are getting sales training. So I'm in a group of sales trainers, top sales trainers in Australia, and we are we meet once a month, and they're really my competitors. But
it's more of a community.
Yeah, it's no, there's about 17 people. They're the top B2B trainers in Australia.
Yep.
So Tony Hughes is in that. People like John Smybert.
Sure. Shout out to.
Tony Hughes. He wrote Combo Prospecting. I do recommend reading that book.
Cool.
It's really cool for B2B. But so really, realistically, they are really my competitors. But they help me so much. They give me a lot of information, knowledge. We share best practices and we help each other. So because at the end of the day, there are so many companies that are not getting their staff trained in sales. So many.
Yeah.
So there is enough work to go around.
Yeah.
10 times, 100 times over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see your point. I think it's more about protecting a few things so that when you share them, when you train people, there's a golden nugget that they have gotten that they may not have heard about, and a new thing that they take away from the training, and not just, obviously the value is in the person, like you said, you know, the experiences, you know, the knowledge that you bring and how you approach it and how you train them, but also a few things that you can keep in your pocket or under your sleeve that you can share.
No, because I did have one lady said, I've been following your email marketing for many years, my sales training. And she said, I kind of held off because I was just following and I thought, I knew the whole process. But then finally I thought, okay, let me just buy it. And I was so shocked that a lot of information you've never shared. A lot of obviously she can find it for free online. There's information that I've shared that is. But she said, and then I realized I was missing so much information because I was trying to put it together and do it myself from your email marketing.
Cool. What are your thoughts on, without giving us anything important away?
No, don't worry. I'm I was just kind of joking, but no, I do give.
It's all right. I'm just joking as well. Oops.
Yeah.
We have a bit of a light malfunction. Cool. The light is back on. So sales funnels. What is your philosophy on sales funnels? And I get it, you're in B2B, completely different than B2C, different than,
but I mean, that's important also for people that are watching, because some people don't realize that sometimes they're selling software and they're following people that are teaching them B2C sales funnels.
Yeah, that's very important. Let's touch a little bit on this.
And I've seen so many people that went down that path of 2 years doing B2C sales strategies, and then they didn't realize, hang on, I'm selling software. It doesn't work like that. It's not that. It's more complex. But no, what do you want to know about the sales funnel exactly? Because your question.
What's the how do you build a sales funnel? Let's say we'll take an example.
Yeah.
We'll take an example which you just mentioned. Let's say, this is I'm a SaaS company, a startup. I'm building a software that helps, let's say, real estate companies be more productive, for example.
Yeah.
Right. So your target market is real estate agencies.
Yeah.
How do you build a sales funnel?
Okay, so I mean, at the end of the day, and you have probably more expertise with sales funnels than me. Okay, because for me, I focus more on pipeline than sales funnel.
Yep.
Now, just for the people that are watching, and I'm aware that you know all this, but just because sometimes when we talk and we use jargon and people are watching, they're like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
So for the people that are watching, a sales funnel is the buyer's journey, and where you're taking that buyer from not knowing who you are to then becoming your raving fan.
Yep.
Advocate. So
Yep.
or advocate.
Yep.
And some people, for them, like it's a whole complex sales funnel, and there's others like it's like a four-step sales funnel from creating awareness. Then there's that interest. I'm interested. Let me find out a little bit more. They're building trust. And then there's desire, that they either discover there's a pain or they have a pain at that time, whether it's 3 months time, 6 months, 1 year, whatever. And then they end up buying.
Yep.
I don't really have like a specific, I just know I have a sales funnel and I do it, and I teach people like, you have this sales funnel, understand where they are in the sales funnel.
Yep.
But the pipeline for me is more important. Because the pipeline is where you take action.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the pipeline, that's when I go, okay, so where are they in the buyer's journey? Are they in awareness stage? Are they in interest? Have we qualified them? But what am I doing with this lead or this prospect?
Yep.
And the most important is to follow up.
Yep.
And to have a sales cadence, and to because sometimes it could be a qualified marketing lead.
Yep.
And it comes to you, then it's a whole nother journey.
Yep.
That you take him through as well.
The fact that they downloaded a brochure doesn't mean anything. Sometimes.
No, it doesn't. But so for me,
or does it? Maybe it does. It depends.
Sometimes it does. But if, for example, I have a very niche industry. It's employment services. So they help unemployed people into work, and it's mostly disability employment.
Yep.
Now, when I'm creating content, and it's not valuable to me if 100,000 people visit my website. Because but if I then get their email addresses and then I send them an email and I target those, and there's a few thousand of them in Australia, like maybe 10,000 of them in Australia, of decision makers and also influencers and users that are the staff, and I start creating content, then I start getting 90% of my traffic I get in employment services is from that company, because it's through my email marketing as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you try, especially in the B2B space, to personalize every single piece of communication, especially when you're starting out, like an outreach campaign or something?
So in my outreach email marketing, I don't. Like personalize, like hi, and you say their name. I just send them articles.
Right.
And I do get a good, because it's very niche to the industry and it's contextualized and it uses their jargon.
Mm-hmm.
They do open it because not a lot of people are writing in their industry about their problems, and they call it reverse marketing, which is employer prospecting.
Yep.
However, when I'm sending sales emails, it's very personalized, but not always, because sometimes if it's too personalized, it's almost like it comes. That's my opinion, and just no sales. There's no one way. There's
no right or wrong. There's what works for you and what. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's too personalized, I don't want to be like sucking up too much or like stalking them too much.
It's like, oh, hi, Rana. I know that you love golfing, and
exactly.
Last week it can come across as creepy as well.
Yeah, exactly. Or I've been like, I saw your Facebook and I know that you're vegan, and like, what vegan restaurants do you recommend? And I'm like, okay.
Obviously, you're gonna contextualize it from a business perspective.
From business
but
perspective.
I think what you're alluding to is it can still come across as you're sucking up to them, rather than just having this, attitude of, okay, I know about you, I understand what your problems are.
Your industry,
your industry, but I'm also confident in what I'm bringing to the table, and it's a mix of it's a balance between both. So having that posture.
And you've nailed it. So for example, you're doing digital marketing and you say, oh, like I do digital marketing, I can help you get more leads. That doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
But if you say, I've helped law firms like yours get leads because I understand law firms have XYZ problem, that's personalized for me, and that is speaking to them and their problem. But a lot of people, like, they just send generic, we help people get more leads, or we help people. And don't get me wrong, I've done it a lot myself because I'm very pressed for time.
Yep.
Sometimes I'm not even like, I don't have the time to personalize, or sometimes I'm not just focusing on that specific domain or industry.
Yep.
So yeah, I've sent out the generic, but the one that has the most impact when I speak about their industry, and I'm the expert in, even if I'm serving lawyers, doctors, and construction companies, but in my email, it should be, I'm helping other law firms like yours do X, Y, Z, and I don't talk about everybody else.
Yep. And speak to what's relevant. Cool. All right. I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there anything you want to address or directly share with anyone who's watching or listening? If someone is interested in working with you, how do they reach you? All that stuff.
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. I've been following your podcast, and I've seen, because on LinkedIn I was like, wow, this looks really cool, and I've always loved this, so I'm very happy to be here. Number 2 is I do have an online course which is like just $97. It's called Selling for Non-Salespeople, and it's an introductory, very basic course of, if you're not a salesperson, you're an entrepreneur, it just teaches you skills of how to make cold calls, how to send emails, how to fill your pipeline, all that kind of stuff. And if you go to www.sellingfornonsalespeople.com. However, if you want a more complex teaching your sales team, just reach out to me at rana@thesellingacademy.net, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, Rana Kordahi. That's about it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Anyone watching this on YouTube, feel free to leave your comments, questions. Let me know who you'd like to see next time, what topics, and all that stuff. And we'll see you next time. Thank you, Rana.
Thank you. Go.